Hi, everyone. I'm Logan Baldwin, the Executive Director of Klamath Film. And with me, I have Edgar Garcia Chavez, writer and director of Ghost of Recent Past. Edgar, why don't you tell us a little bit about your filmmaking background?
So I have a background in architecture, so that's what I went to college for. And when I was here in working here in Oregon, I started taking classes at the Northwest Film Center and the Open Signal Portland Community Media. So I started working in projects, volunteering for projects, and the idea is to encourage you to help other people, and other people will help you, right? So then I would donate my time for their projects, they donate their time to my projects, and I started working for that. And I started actually with film, like Super 8 millimeters, um, 16 millimeters, stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun, but it just takes forever, right? That once you shoot and trying to develop, and it's 100 feet of film will give you like 2 minutes. So it was a little bit like intimidating to like try to make any mistakes, right? Because like 100, you can only get 2 minutes, and then so that's how it started. So I started doing a lot of like more of experimental films and that kind of thing. Not a lot of actors, not a lot of dialogue. And then I started working on the project and started evolving, and I started getting actually some clients, and I started sending some of the films to festivals, and they were well received. And with the pandemic, I was laid off from my architectural job, and so I decided to make the jump to film full time. So I founded my production company, it's Nayo Creative Productions, and we're doing like I try to keep a balance between uh, art films and commercial films, right? So one of the commercial projects that I'm doing, I'm pretty proud of, is we're doing a cooking show for blind people. It's called The Blind Kitchen. And in this show, this is for older people that used to cook and be independent, and they lost their sight and they don't feel comfortable cooking. And that's what happened to the chef. Her name is Deborah Erickson, and so she had this idea to teach people how to do it. So she sells tools, and for each tool, I make a video that teach you how to use it, why it's brand friendly, and how to take care of it, and all that, right? So it's like, so that's one of the projects, and then I'm doing other short films. Ghost of Recent Past is one that is doing really good. Won a couple of awards, and it's been of like Klamath Falls will be our ninth film festival. Um, so yeah, and then I have my feature film that we shot last year that is in post production. It's called The Subcontractors. So I like comedy, so most of all my films are like some sort of comedy, dark comedies usually, a little bit dealing with sarcasm and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like in general. And there's always other projects and trying to figure out like um how to balance like the ideas when actually money, right? How to make it. So a lot of people come with ideas, but then it's like, okay, do you have a budget? That's kind of one of the things. And if not, do you have a plan on how to get the money, right? Like how, because a lot of people don't realize how much it costs, right? Sometimes a lot of my work is explain people that yes, you can do a film with a phone, but the quality, the sound, all the stuff suffers, right? So if you're doing for that look, that's fine, right? Documentaries is a look. You know what I mean? People make cinematographers out, they make a decision. So everything is planned, and I think sometimes a lot of my um, time is spent explaining people what film is.
Totally. So that was great. That was a lot. Your feature, you just shot it
Mhm.
last year. Is it still in post?
Yeah, so we're in the final stages in post production. So it's been we have like a fine cut, right? So we did the first, well, the second like edit, and now we're doing what's it called a music score. So we're going through that process, and I'll tell you a little bit about the film as well. It's so this film is called The Subcontractors, and it's based on a true story happening in China. Um, so the developer hates his other developer, so decides going to kill him. So he hires a hitman to do the job. So that's hitman number one. Hitman number one hires hitman number two, half price. Two has third, half price. Three, four, half. So that's the structure of the film. How to like they just subcontracting and passing the job at a reduced quality and reduced price, and everything takes place here in Portland, Oregon. So I lose all everybody's like local filmmakers and local locations, um, and it's pretty fun too. I mean, I like it.
Yeah,
Hopefully, the audience is
awesome.
as well.
That sounds awesome. I really hope you submit that next year for the Klamath Film Festival.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I mean, so far it's been pretty good. So have an eye on you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Yeah, yeah. So I'll once like we'll finish. I'm trying to understand distribution, how that, but definitely like film festivals are great to. The music score, for example, for Ghost of Recent Past is the same person who's doing the feature film, and I met her in another festival. She showed her film before mine, and I really liked the way the music told the story in her film. So I invited to the Ghost, and I think like she did a great job with the music as well. And that's kind of like I think festivals give you a lot of like opportunities to. I mean, it's the business side of it, but like most of the people are there because they love it, right? They're always like I always go back to the idea amateur, right? Amateur means from the Greek means lover, amador, right? So people that are amateurs that do it for the love of the art more so than for the money. But you need the money, right? Because if not, you'll not be able to do it. So um, yeah, so
very cool. Okay, well, so jumping back to Ghost of Recent Past, on Film Freeway in your director statement, you mentioned that you aim to bring light to stories that mainstream media often fails to show. How does Ghost of Recent Past confront the unseen or unspoken realities of racism within a family dynamic? And why was it important for you to address this through the lens of comedy?
uh, yeah. So I found I use comedy as a tool to deal with bigger topics, right? So you mentioned even the word racism sounds very aggressive, and or people trying to pretend that doesn't happen or it is happening in the past, and there is not something that is still happening now, right? So moving, I was living in New York, so it's a very diverse community, and there's like you can see everything everywhere. And we came to Portland, Oregon. Um, there is no diversity for the most part. I think like 93% are just white people, right? So there is not a culturally, and also there isn't, right? So then, and when I'm trying to show that, it was like that's by design, that not just happened by chance. Um, through his, coming back to a little bit from architecture, it's like the city code and city zoning, basically they call it redlining. So we basically took a pen and then saying, okay, these people are people of color or stuff. So the value of these properties are low. You want to not buy there. And it was defined on these people in this place don't get trees, don't get infrastructure, don't get all that. So the value of the property is never raised, never like accrue, right? And in this side, and it's a very clear division. The division is the river. So the east side is the poor side, the west side is the rich side. And I'll say all those are decisions that have been made. And even though they were made a while ago, but not too far, like 50, 60 years ago, right? So there is an event that happens called the Albina neighborhood. They say, okay, we're gonna build um, a new highway, we're gonna build a new arena and all that. Which neighborhood are gonna destroy? It was a black neighborhood, right? So they will remove that, and that community disappear, right? So there's a little, so those violent acts, they don't say they're conscious. And what I'm trying to say to people, right? A lot of people like here, and I'm pretty sure they don't learn in school. I didn't know it as well. The Constitution as well, right? And that I won't say the words and those like is still on the what's it called property deeds. When you buy a house, you still have that language in there. And there was a motion to pass to remove it and all that stuff, but since it will cost you a couple $1,000, owners say no, we don't care, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. Is like those stuff that like you can say we don't um, enforce it or we don't do it anymore, but it's still there, right? And words have a meaning, when you say something, and is part of uh, the whole thing. So I'm trying to get with these ideas, try to bring it out and deals with something that is aggressive, and then it's like um, that has a big impact of hope in a way that is like a comedy, right? That is like bring the stuff out and say, okay, we're still all part of it, and you still work with these issues, right? So that's kind of like what I'm trying to bring out this contradiction, right? So that things are not black and white, and like we're not perfect in a lot of ways, and I think like we should still strive, right? There's a lot of things uh, that needs attention, the climate, and all the stuff. So what I always try to tell people is like just pick the one that matters most to you and work with one. Cannot save everything, right? There's
Totally.
problems with immigration, there's climate, there's like women's rights, there's like there's a lot of things, but there's like you cannot. And what I would tell is like um we focus so much on criticizing and this stuff, but it's like what do you do about it? Like how like um like to me this is my way to express an opinion and give that out, right? So it's like on film festivals and hopefully in the internet or distribution or whoever, like people watch it and see it, and hopefully they have like, oh, okay, I see, they learn something out of it. So my goal is to be uh, edutainment, right? Education and entertainment. To have a little education, have that is not just like empty, like try to get a message in some way. So hopefully it conveys, and that's what I like to see it in person, right? So I see people's reactions, and because sometimes I think, oh, when I wrote it, oh, this is going to be funny, but people don't laugh at that, but then people laugh at something else, and it's like, oh, how did that happen, right? How to like try to understand timing, um, and then how people like have questions like, what is it? Sometimes I think people are gonna interpret it in this way, and they come out with something completely different that I didn't realize, and so hopefully I grow from those experiences and create uh, something better, and hopefully I'm getting better and doing more things, right?
Right. Yeah. They say that once you put it out into the world, your art is it no longer belongs to you. That's for the audience, and they take from it whatever they want to take from it, And that's
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, right? So there's a pretty good philosopher, Roland Barthes, I think his name. So one of his main article is the death of the author, right? So once you have the stuff out, the author doesn't matter, because then people will start interpreting and get all those things, like even the author didn't, that was not intention, but it doesn't matter anymore because you don't have control.
totally right. So I've got one final question for you before we wrap up here. I like to ask everybody what were some of the biggest challenges that they faced during the production and how did you overcome it? Because we all know that filmmaking is problem solving, right? Nothing ever runs
Mhm.
perfectly smoothly, right? So what was something that happened on set or before or after?
Well, I think one of the biggest changes was the house itself. So I went to, this is the house one of my friends went to her house, it was a Christmas party, and I really liked it, the way it was structured, and like it has like a core, and you go like it's very open and go around. So I always had the idea of like how do you move in space, like how to get in and out and then go up the stairs, right? It's like um a spiral, right? So that's kind of the idea of the project and how to go on. But the one of the big challenges is an old house and it's really small. So a lot of the stuff, especially in the bedroom is only like 10 by 10, something like that. So it was just like uh, very challenging just to have, it was just the basically sound cinematographer and me, right? Moving around. And since we tried to control light, we closed all the windows, and it was pretty hot that day too. So we were like really roasting in there. And then when all some of the props, I have some like hearts and confetti and stuff, they were sticking to the actors and leaving a mark. So we had to get the makeup, like go and clean that up and move this. So there was a lot of like, and then she was sweating. Um, and then one of the things I find out in I'll tell a little bit of the film, the last scene, it's a couple in the bed, and we're focused so much on the couple and stuff. And then when I get the footage, the script was on the bed.
Sorry, what
So
you get the
the
foot
script. So the script, the actual paper was on the bed. So when we
Oh,
shot it, it was so it was like when we were doing it because it was so small and with some crumb, we were just looking at the couple because we have like tunnel vision. When
yeah.
I saw it, it was like right there.
Wow.
So luckily, and that's one of the things with AI now that I mean, there's bad things, but there's good things too, right? So trying to learn how to clean it because we're not going to shoot again. You know what I mean? We have to deal with the materials that we have, and it was great. I use After Effects, and what it does, it creates so basically a mask is a hole basically, and it takes all the data around it and fills the hole.
Right.
And we're moving because the thing is, if it's fixed, it's like Photoshop that we easier, but this one is moving because the camera moving, so it track it as it moves. But it's not perfect, right? So you can see that the sheets don't move that way.
Right.
But you will not able to see you will not see it because you're focused. Everybody in the audience is going to be a tunnel vision because they're looking at the beautiful couple and bed, right? If I point out to you, you'll see it. So
Totally.
that's
I've watched it 3 times now, and I have not noticed it. So I think you did a really great job. Because you
oh
did,
yeah, no thanks.
right?
Yeah, I did that. So there were a few other there was one scene there was an arm of one of the PAs
Uh-huh.
sticking out in a frame and it was fine. They said, oh maybe not, but then she moved it and then your eyes catch so how to like mask this thing. There was some light fixtures like so those were like challenges, but I was like then we had to figure out, right? Because we're not gonna be in other locations, we have budget. This was filmed in a couple days. Um, so there's no budget and to go back and film, right? And trying to be so then we post production we have to finish we have to fix it. And I think it's gonna pretty good, pretty happy with it. But that's it's just learning, right? Things that happen that that you have to clean it or you have to remove or adjust, right? Because it's done. We cannot like
Right.
reshoot it or anything. So
We absolutely fooled me all 3 times. So that was great. I'm
excellent.
not like that. Um, Edgar, do you have any final words before we sign off here?
Well, I hope everybody will, I mean, enjoys it, and yeah, give me. Only if you don't, it's okay too, right? So you always like tell people like I'm hoping that this film creates an emotion in you, and whatever it is, if it's good or bad, just let me know, right? So I'm learning and I'm trying to create something that is better every time. So like a lot of people say, like don't whatever it is, just let me know, right? So it's like if you have any comments or anything, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook or and I always reply to everyone. Might take time, but yeah, so I'm really open to any feedback that you guys have, and hope to see you guys at the festival. And like, I know it's gonna be great, you know.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Edgar, for submitting your film to the Klamath Independent Film Festival. Ghost of Recent Past will be available on Eventive for a limited time as part of our online showcase.
Excellent. It was nice meeting you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.